Hello and welcome to the Market Wrap on BloombergQuint. I'm Mathew. It was a bit of a topsy-turvy session, but the benchmarks have added to the gains that they made both in November and December, and in fact have settled at new highs near the high point of the day. Crucially, for the Sensex, it has now breached the 48,000 mark, having gained for 9 straight days. Now, first of all, I need to apologize for any noise that you might hear. There's construction work going on outside. I'm going to try and wrap up as soon as I can, though. Let's take a look at the key contributors for the Nifty. The Nifty, remember, is now about 6% higher than that low point that it hit in the middle of January, and that already seems to be quite a distant memory. But let's look at some of those contributors. We've ended close to the day's high, like I pointed out. A key contributor in today's session is some of those metal names. Right on the top of the screen, you see Tata Steel having gained about 8.6%. And you also have JSW Steel a little down in the list, about 4% higher in trade. And that's because of some reports that have emerged that channel checks are pointing to a possibility of price hikes of 2,500 to 4,000 rupees per ton across different categories, product categories of steel this month. That's according to Phillip Capital. Hindalco also gaining quite a bit in the session today, about 7% or so. And that's because there are brokerage notes that have come out that are very positive on the metal space as a whole. You'll know that base metals have also been strong in the recent past. Of course, there's also possibly some of the positivity has to do with the approval of the 2 vaccines against COVID-19 here in India. The hope of a return to normalcy and a boost to growth has definitely spurred interest in quite a few varied sectors. Oil and gas companies also gaining in today's session, and crude is going to be in focus both today and in the near term. I'll come back to that in just a bit. Now, among the losers, you have Hero MotoCorp, which in fact was one of the only underperformers in the auto index as a whole. You also had Bajaj Finance losing about 1.4% and Kotak Mahindra Bank losing about 1.3%. HDFC Bank also losing about 0.5%. That heavyweight dragging the bank Nifty a little in today's session. But let's take a look at some of the key sectoral indices. You have the IT index that ended at a record high, or that hit a record high. You have the auto index that hit a 2-year high. Hero MotoCorp, like I said, was the only underperformer. Its sales in December were higher by about 5%. Perhaps investors were looking at the possibility of a better run rate. In fact, you did have a few of the auto companies report quite positive numbers for the month of December. The metal index gained about 5% in trade, with all of the constituents gaining. The Nifty Bank underperformed, and I think even that, it ended off the day's lows. It made quite a bit of recovery in the latter part of the session, and it was probably dragged down by HDFC Bank. But among the individual counters, there was a business update from Marico that I thought was quite positive. The company has said that it saw stronger than expected recovery in consumer sentiment. In fact, it said that it expects to deliver healthy profit growth on the back of various cost optimization initiatives that it's taken up. And it also maintained an optimistic outlook for the rest of the financial year. The stock ended positive. Let's, in fact, look at the broader markets that just came up onto your screen. And the market breadth very clearly tilted in favor of the gainers. From the data that I saw on the NSE, you had more than 2 gainers for every loser on that platform today. But let's take a look at some of the names that you will see. You'll see, in fact, quite a few names in the metals pack, again, making the list. As far as the gainers are concerned, Lemon Tree Hotels gaining on the back of, again, that optimism that there might just be a return to normalcy. Trident at the top of the list, gaining 20%. But, well, that's not necessarily a counter that you want to focus on. Again, on the losing side, I wouldn't really look at any trends from what you will see. So, I mean, more or less as per what I have already described in terms of the losers. Among the things to watch out for going forward, I would look at the OPEC Plus meeting that's taking place almost, I think, as I speak right now. And oil is something that you'll want to watch out for, because Brent is currently trading around $50 to the barrel, but it could rise further if the OPEC Plus agree to cap output in February. Remember, that's what they're debating, whether or not to cap output in the month of February going forward. Of course, later in the week, you'll also have US jobless claims, and that will be key to watch out for. Any information, I think, on the efficacy of the vaccines that have already been rolled out on the new strain of the COVID-19 virus that broke out in the UK will also be very key to watch out for in the near term. And of course, over the rest of the month, you'll also want to have one eye on any indications as to what the government is planning in the budget for financial year 2022. That's more or less what we've got for you on the market wrap, but there's clearly lots more to talk about, and you'll find all of that on the website, BloombergQuint.com. Thanks so much for watching. This is Bloomberg Quint.